This is the instructional how-to video for Todd Saylor, the brand new concession trailer. I'm going to be able to go ahead and show you the operational features of your new concession as well as shutdown procedures also. Up front we have two of your 100-pound propane tanks. These are empty. Both shut-off valves in the off position. We're running off one tank. Do want to show switch on, power up, power down for connecting to the truck itself. I do have your trailer plugged into my shore power that's resting here at this current moment. This is your city water fill box. So we have the freshwater inlet for the water tank itself. This is the non-pressure side, so you can use your food grade water hose and fill up the tank through this port here. If you need to run any bleach or sanitizer in the tank, which is periodically needed for to keep from mildew or mold in the freshwater tank itself, you do so through this port itself. This is also where you would run your water pump itself. I, on the other hand, am running the city water fill side, which is the pressurized side, bypassing the tank and pump, directly hooked up. And with a food grade water hose, you can be able to move this flap out of the way, be able to lock up so nobody can tamper with the water itself. Also right here we have an exterior plug. Be able to show it in the operational form. Right below that is our waste drain valve. So you can hook up a 3/4 inch, or what's better recommended is hooking up 3-inch RV waste hose. So remove the cap, hook the hose on. Once the hose is hooked up, this gate valve, allow you to pull, water will flow out like so. Once that's completed, you can be able to shut this valve off, be able to remove the hose and put the cap back in place. Go ahead and dump all the water out of the tank. No extra weight needed. Concession window here on the driver's side. As far as the flip-up counters, pressing upward allows those to rotate down. Pressing back upward allows those to go to a fixed position. I'll come to this side here at the very end of the trailer for shutdown procedures. Right now I have gas going through this tank itself, running into this shutoff valve. As you can see, the lines in the on position. Before I ever cut this on, or the tank, I made sure both exhaust fans were in a working position, which they are at this moment, and always should be, before you ever pressurize the system. Gas is highly explosive, very dangerous. First thing you would do is rotate this to the on position, and then you turn this valve on itself. And when you pressurize the system, just run one tank at a time. At that point, you're going to hear the initial charge of the line, and that's it. You should not hear any gas running through this system. Of course, when you have the exhaust fans on, there is some slight noise with that, but you can still identify if there's gas running through any one of these regulators. Also, it's a good thing to always make sure that all of the control knobs are in the off position for the equipment itself, just for added safety. But the main purpose of paying attention to the regulators on the outside of the trailer is if there was going to be a leak in the gas piping that runs below the trailer itself, you're going to be able to identify it on the initial startup. Again, if you hear the initial startup, gas running through, immediately shut this valve off, which is going to be a 1/4 turn, and have a local gas company come out and inspect the system. This is the off position, just for reference. Again, it's quarter turn. Wash sink. Got your drink mixer. Now this is not fastened to the counter. This will have to be in a safe place for transport itself. No way to fasten this down out here on the actual unit. There we go. We've got the bar top itself. Got your freezer here at -25. That's the beverage air right here as soon as you walk in the entry door. I'll go ahead and go down the driver's side, showing the plugs working. Real quick while I'm up front, you can go ahead and turn the hot water on itself. $112 and still rising. Main principle is to be able to show that the water heater is actually working. Water pump switch on, off, if you plan to use the water pump and tank. Water heater, winterization valve. It's very important to pay attention to the video we'll send for winterization purposes. And then the massive whatever 100 and something gallon fresh water tank this is. Looks like we got a couple of plugs under the passenger side concession window. I want to go ahead and show you up front. Of course, we have the fire suppression control head above here, all the piping, and then we have the tank in behind that wall in this corner. Those doors open up, there's the power cord. I'll climb up there here in just a moment and go over that part. Got your fridge at 33 degrees. All of the packaging and contents for most everything is in here. Warming cabinet, your deep fryers, a mixer, the extra donut hopper for the donut mixing machine. Everything I put in the fridge for all the heat equipment. Got your warming cabinet here. Right now 120 degrees. Sitting on top of the worktop fridge, 31 degrees. I did forget to show the temp for the beverage air. Sitting here, nice and cold. If there's any plugs under there, there. Yep, there's one right here. Alrighty, so got the plugs taken care of inside. Right now I've got the AC unit on the front one, this one, and the one up front. Obviously I can feel air coming through at this moment, but the exhaust fan is pulling quite a bit out. Definitely, if you have the power to spare, definitely run it if you would like. Again, hood system, both fans always need to be on before this cooking equipment gets lit. So I'm going to show you all the equipment working, and then I'll go over how to light it itself. Again, you'll be able to see your thermopile burning, pilot light in the on position, and then we'll go ahead and turn them off. I'll do the last deep fryer. I'll explain how to light all that equipment. So for lighting the deep fryers, it requires two hands to do it. That's why I go ahead and light all the equipment. This is in the off position. As you'll see, this is in the off position, as they always need to be on the first beginning of each day, as well as the end of each day. On, off, on, off. What I'm doing is connecting this thermostat to this gas valve, and at that point you can rotate to where the L meets the red dot and allows you to push in. You have to push and hold here and administer your fire to your thermopile. Once the thermopile is lit, continue to hold this pilot button for 10 to 15 seconds. Once you can slowly release this button and the thermopile stays lit, you then can turn this to the on position, and when ready, activate your thermostat to the desired temp for the fryer itself. Just make sure at the end of the day to turn this all to the off position. There's a drain tube in each one of the bags for the fryer. It threads into here and allows you to dump the contents that are in the vat for cleaning or transportational purposes. The griddle, a little bit more simple. Everything just needs to stay in the off position for lighting purposes. Never force light any griddles. And what I mean by force lighting is never turn this on and administer your fire. You always want to make sure your pilot is going, and as you'll see, there's enough gas coming out of that pilot light. Again, I haven't changed anything, it's in the off position. So you put your lighter down below. Because propane's heavy, it's going to find the fire itself. So all you have to do is have your lighter right here for lighting your pilot. Again, in the off position, always. Once you know that the pilot lights are lit, then you can turn on the burners safely for operation. Now for this unit itself, I am not going to light it. I do not know all of the particulars on this unit. I know we have gas going to it at this moment. I can see it has an automatic igniter and your pilot itself, but I do not want to run this equipment without someone that has knowledge of running this piece of machinery. I do not want this thing to be damaged by any means. I've got gas to it, I've got electric to it. Again, without having oil in it and the batter, I do not know if it is safe to turn this unit on without having the proper product in place. Again, very simple setup for changing out the actual units itself, or your mixer bowl, hopper, I guess is what you would call it. This unit here, pretty neat little design, you know, for safety purposes. It's going to lock forward. This will rotate on, and at that point, then you can turn the mixer on, variable speeds, and set a timer. If anybody at any point opens and closes that, it's going to shut the unit off, obviously for safety purposes. This unit is not mounted down either. It is sitting on top, no way to fasten in place. But the big thing is, this is a very light machine as well. Be able to maneuver that machine wherever you need it. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn the gas off so we can go over the remaining portions of the video. Again, turning the gas off is simply quarter turn and then rotating this gas knob off itself. Once that is off, and that is off, regardless of what tank you're using, then at that point you can turn the exhaust fans off. They're no longer needed. So again, we have our fire suppression system, control head located here. Behind all of these filters, they are removable. Just grab the middle filter. You'll be able to see the links and set up in place. These links nobody needs to tamper with other than a licensed fire suppression company. If you do not have the hood system running and you run the equipment, you take a chance on not only popping the fuses, which anything over 500 degrees, which would get stuck in that cavity pretty easy, would send that sensor and everything in the tank would come running out of these nozzles themselves, but also you take a chance on carbon monoxide poisoning, which can happen as well. Also, these filters need to be removed and cleaned periodically. I would recommend each day. Makes it a whole lot easier. Hot water and a mild soap or a mild degreaser allow adequate time for them to air dry. Once those filters are dry, definitely put back in place, and what you don't want to do is have a gap open. You want to keep that gap close like that so you do not have grease blow by into the exhaust fans. I would recommend having the exhaust fans on a quarterly maintenance for periodic cleaning. Also, the cup that's behind the red piece of paper here, the dial pin, it hooks on to these two dials. Monitor that grease cup each day also. That's what you do not want to have happen, is an open gap like so. That grease will get into the exhaust fans. Again, close them gaps up as tight as possible. This is the rear unit. A little step ladder would help. I'm 6 foot tall and still at 8 foot ceilings, it is difficult. The opening for the roof vents, open them up as needed. If there's going to be crosswinds or in transportation, do make sure that those are closed. If you do leave them open and it's raining, water will come in through those as well. Naturally, it's an opening itself. I did not show the temp on the sandwich prep, which is at 38 degrees. Pans in place for the sandwich prep. Simply turning this switch off will take and turn the knob off for actual warming cabinet, and go ahead and turn the front AC unit off. Simple knob right there for turning that one off as well. If you choose to turn the fridge off, you can do so through this button here, turning that power off. It's not needed. Same thing for the sandwich prep. Now under counter worktop refrigeration, it's not needed to unplug or turn it off. It'll cut off with the trailer itself. We'll go ahead and climb up to the upper portion. Again, you got your fire suppression tank. This will need to be tagged by your local fire suppression company. We have our battery for the 12-volt lighting system. We have the fuse panel, and then we have the battery charger itself. We have a 150 amp main breaker panel, all 20 amp independent circuits. And that power cord pulls down through that cable hatch as you see located here. Alrighty. So for shutdown procedures, again, gas needs to be off. So no propane into the system itself. Turn the exhaust fans off. Turn the AC and heat units off itself. Your interior and exterior light switches, so that one's the inside, but these are all of the exterior light switches. Definitely want to make sure that all these are off, even the interior as well. Transportation, we're going to have this in a safe place for transport, as well as the mixer in the back. It's on the back counter also. Sorry, I'm turning around just that way you can get a glimpse of the whole trailer. Again, this unit as well needs to be in a safe place for transport also. Definitely want to make sure that everything is in a closed position, all windows and doors for transportation. We do have your water and shut-off valve for the coffee machine you plan on having back here as well. Be able to show this last plug in its working position. So again, for shutdown procedure, you're going to have everything turned off as power can be turned off itself, and then you want to have these doors closed and latched for transport. Now you can put a pin in here, you can put a lock in here each day, whichever way you would like. Obviously each day I would plan on locking it up, whether it be one side or both sides itself, and you'd want to do that for all of the concession windows and entry doors. I do recommend making sure that you periodically check lug nuts, air pressure, and also plan on taking this to a trailer facility if you're going to be doing a lot of transportation with it, and having the bearings taken care of or greased each year if you're going to be doing transport. Definitely. If it's going to be sitting mobile, it's still recommended once a year, just for safe protocol for the bearings itself. Make sure that your ramp door is closed, all doors are closed, all equipment turned off, all gas turned off each and every day. We thank you for taking the time to view this video. I make these videos to be able to show the customer everything in the working position, be able to show them their trailer before they get here to our facility. If you do have any questions or concerns by any means, please reach out to us, ask, make the comments. if there's new employees coming aboard and they're unsure of running the equipment, have them watch the video as well. Any way that we can help, we'd be glad to do so, and we thank you for taking the time. We thank you for your business.